All right. Looks like the tape machines are rolling.
We are live.
Yeah, live.
Is it like actually live though? We're not live.
Yeah, we're live. We're live. Like, I'm looking at you. We're live.
We're not live streaming though,
Live
right?
streaming. Well, it depends on your definition of reality. You know, like was that the cave theory? You know, we're all just sitting in the cave watching
On the allegory of a cave.
Yeah, allegory of the cave. I mean, in terms of that, then we're live because we're all live streaming. Life is live streaming when you think about it. If you believe it, I mean.
That's a good point. If you believe it.
If you believe.
And there's a story there. There's a narrative being told.
Well, life is a narrative if you
That's
believe.
all there is.
Yeah, that's all there is. Yeah.
It's an art of storytelling. What is the narrative?
Yeah.
Are you the main character?
Yeah, I mean, well, there's such thing as main character syndrome.
You're the main character.
Yeah.
This is about South.
Well, no.
This is going to be the economy lately. This is South lately.
Well, no, I mean, from my point of view, I mean, it's like the Truman Show. Did you ever wonder if you're in the Truman Show?
Yeah, every single day because you just kind of follow me with your camera and I don't know when it's on or when it's off.
And you starred in those Ace Ventura movies too.
Wait, what? Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Anthony Smith, Chief Economist here at FreightWaves, and this is Economy Lately. And of course, I am joined by the one, the only South Turk.
Hey now.
Are you going to like insert applause here?
Yeah, well, we should. We should start doing this in front of a live studio audience.
We are doing it in front of a live studio audience.
You're right.
They're just walking around.
Yeah, you're true. It's true. I mean, like, you know, people we pay to be here and laugh at our jokes and applaud for us and make us feel better about
That's
ourselves.
not the budget.
Not in the budget.
But it doesn't matter. Someone can just bail us out, right?
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah.
Well, speaking of which, we got to talk about some of the latest stuff that just happened. And as we were talking about a little bit earlier, it's all about the story and it's all about the narrative in South. That's what we saw a little bit earlier this week. Of course, we had Jay Powell back at it again. This is something that we were talking about that's going to happen that we're going to be watching closely. And we got the announcement of a 25 basis point increase from the Fed. And the markets reacted pretty positively so far. And really, like I said, it's all about the story. So let's jump into that.
All right.
So, South, we're talking about a story. It's not if it's a good story, a bad story, if you believe it or not. It's just that there is a narrative being told. And once you kind of see what the storyline is, what the plot line is, you can kind of start to anticipate what's going to happen next. And really, let's kind of start at the beginning when, of course, we got stimulus packages deployed throughout the country, COVID times, scary times, of course, didn't know what was going to happen. And so we got stimulus packages, you know, assistance from the government in these uncertain times at the moment. And then we got another one. And then another one. And then we got increased unemployment benefits. And then we just got increase in the money supply. And the big question a lot of folks are saying is like, hey, I remember the thing called inflation. Is that going to happen? And then what was the story that we were told? There's not going to be any inflation. Everything's going to be just fine. Just take your check, stay at home, keep spending, and don't worry about it. We'll take care of everything. And that was the story that we were being told. And then lo and behold, low inflation started popping up. First, it hit assets. You know, it's run up on GameStop, all these other meme stocks, NFTs, all these other things, air fryers.
Things that are probably not real, to be honest with you.
Yeah, what is real though? That's what gets back to it. The story was the money that was getting printed real. I mean, this is a trust system. If it goes on trust and it starts to break a little bit, everything starts to collapse. And we kind of saw some of that, of course, a couple of weeks ago. But really, that story continues with the next part. Inflation starts hitting a little bit. And then the point that we got told was that, you know what, South? Inflation was going to be transitory. That's just going to go smoothly away. That's not going to be here for long. It's just popping its little head up and then it's just going to be gone before you know it. And you know what?
What?
Like Tyler, the creator said, well, that was a lie. And lo and behold, it's here for a lot longer than we thought it was going to be or what they told us it was going to be. And of course, if you rewind some of the other stuff that we were putting out at the time, we didn't really think it was going to be transitory, but that was the narrative. That was the story that they were pushing and telling us. So that the story and the narrative was that we're okay, that this trust system is still intact. And when it comes undone ever so slightly, things start to happen. That's where you get things like SVB. That's where you start getting bank runs, smaller financial institutions. Are we going to be covered? Are we going to be safe? Those are the kind of questions that start popping up. And so yesterday we had our address from Jerome Powell, and we saw an increase of 25 basis points. And that continues the narrative that, hey, you know what? The economy is able to take this next increase, because if we did see a stop or maybe even a downward movement that would probably turn some alarm bells that, hey, the economy is not in a place to accept current interest rate increases, or that, you know what, we think the fight against inflation is over. And after his testimony that we heard from not too long ago, where he was pretty hawkish against it, I mean, that wouldn't really mesh up too well. But back to the recent move of 25 basis points. So the narrative continues, because once we start to see quantitative easing, which the bailout of SVB, I would say in a sense was quantitative easing, because the Fed only has so many tools. They can quantitative tighten, they can really kind of start to tighten up the balance sheet, or they can start to increase interest rates. And so those are the two things that they can do: mess with interest rates and start to do quantitative easing or tightening. And that in a sense was quantitative easing. So they have already kind of started to pivot. Now, we haven't seen a full U-turn yet, but you know what would happen if we did see a full U-turn south? That would open the door to more inflation. And now I know I'm name dropping here, but the late and great Kobe Bryant once said in an interview, job's not finished yet. Job done, job's not done. And so if we start lowering interest rates before the job is finished, that could be, you know, the really opening door to further inflation and then a weakening economy overall. And really, at the end of the day, that's what's all going to come down to, is the narrative that we're being told, the storyline. Whether you believe it or not, whether it's true or false, there is a storyline being played out, and that's what we're seeing in real time. And so, when you think about Jay Powell, everything he says, everything he does, anything if he sneezes, the market's going to react one way or another. And so I think what he's saying is that, of course, he feels confident in our banking system, that he feels confident in, you know, the U.S. economy being able to accept another 25 basis point increase, is really the storyline that nothing is wrong here, that we're okay. And I think that's what he wants us to believe, because if that trust is broken ever so slightly, there is going to be a huge reaction. We had other updates. Initial jobs claims remains low, and we got new home sales as well that increased ever so slightly. And next week we have tons of releases, and of course we'll keep you updated on all of that here. More updates for and inflation numbers.
Did you see that guy rob that bank about 2 blocks away?
Yeah, I heard. So that is another story for another time.
Yeah, well,
and I'm concerned with the summer south.
Is it robbing season?
Yes, because you're thinking about people's credit card spending going through the roof, that U-shaped recovery we didn't want to see. We're seeing savings rate so low. And then if we see a shift in unemployment, that could be a huge, I think, pivot for crime increases, especially during the summertime.
Oh, okay. Well, good to know.
Definitely concerned.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, everybody. Don't do crime, or watch out for crime, rather.
Yeah, watch out for crime.
Yeah, or do crime if you want to.
What's to say? See something, say something?
Yeah. See something, say something. If you see something, say something by the seashore.
What?
Huh?